I'm Mel.
And I'm Mark.
And this is the Cerebral Sports Podcast. On the Cerebral Sports Podcast, we champion the mental development, wellness, and health of athletes, big, small, professional, and amateur.
Week to week, we'll have compelling conversations with athletes, coaches, parents, and mental health professionals to discuss their experiences and point of views as we work to bring awareness to the most vital muscle in an athlete's body, the mind.
All right, welcome back. Today, man, we got a very special guest, man, a guy who actually played for me in the junior college rankings, a man that most of you guys will probably know on every social media platform. He in 2020, he was a National Bowl All-Star MVP winner. During the pandemic, he was going to go for his pro day, man, and I have every bit of faith in if the pro day wasn't canceled due to the pandemic, he probably would still be sitting here with me, but he probably would be in a different situation. In 2002, in 2020 of April, he started his TikTok link. In 2021, he started his YouTube link. As to date, December 2022, he has 3.6 million followers on TikTok. He has 3.7 million people listening to his podcast, and he has over 900 subscribers to his YouTube channel. All right. This guy here is someone who was a Long Island great, played for Newfield High School, had a short stand up in New Hampshire, shot over with me at Nassau Community College, did a tremendous job, finished up his career at New Haven. All right. Not only did he play football at New Haven, he also ran track. All right. This young man, when I first met him, you know, some people you get in the room, and especially for transfers coming into college, you kind of get a feel and you hear all types of things that go on to why they transferred. But there was such a energy that he presented when he stepped into the room, and a belief that, you know, he knew where he was and he had a plan of what he needed to do to get to where he was going. And as a young coach, which I was at the time, I really took a liking to him. And not only did he prove himself at Nassau, but he continues to prove himself every single day that I've known him, and he continues to grow. Without further ado, I got my man AJ Greene on the show. This story, this story that we're about to share with you is something that I really feel like can be inspiring to everyone that's out there. And I'm really excited to get this one underway. AJ, welcome to the show.
I appreciate you and any introduction. You said that really well.
Hey, listen, man, it wasn't hard. You have, like I said, a resume that's really something that I think most people that know you and follow you on social media, they have a liking to you, right? There's something there that they see that they're intrigued by, and I think that it factor is definitely it. But not a lot of people know your story, right? Not a lot of people know of some of the ups and the downs that life threw at you and how you responded to it. Cerebral Sports Podcast is a podcast that's really designed to talk about the mental half of sport, but also how the mental half of sport can translate to regular life and kind of adopt some of the things that you now are welcoming the challenges of what you have going. I know that in your bio here, it says that and we're gonna touch on it, you have a new 7-on-7 team that you're gonna be starting. I know that the XFL is something that's definitely in the makings of right now. And you're very much involved with a lot of the NFL, NBA, all types of people. You know, I look at your YouTube channel, you got all young kids screaming. What's that shirt? What's your shirt say again? Go ahead and give me what it's say it again.
Oui.
Whatever that is.
Right?
Right?
I'm telling you, once you get it right, it's just one of the things you say once, and it's like, oh, it's catchy, right? Yeah. It's just fun to say, like.
And I see that you got gloves, you got a bunch of people buying the gloves, you got the hoodies with, you know, I don't know, Marlon, if you ever seen those kids with the hoodies without the hood?
Oh, without the hood without the shirt?
Yeah.
That's him. That's
okay. Yeah.
That's his thing. So, you know, that again, like I said, this conversation is gonna go all over the place because it's such a great one, but I'm gonna try to stay as focused as possible. So Jelani, take me to the beginning, man. Newfield High School, standout player. Ended up at New Hampshire. Give me that story, man. Give the people, the listeners, that story.
Man, that was from the jump. You know, it was all over the place. You know, because I started at Longwood High School. You know, that was where I was at. And I don't know if you remember too much about Longwood back in 2014, 2015, but we had two running backs finished 1 and 2 in the Hanson Award. You know, for those who don't know, the Hanson Award is like the Heisman Trophy for Long Island high school football. So, you know, with 2 running backs, both of them all state, we never threw the ball. You know, as a wide receiver, you know, as a junior, I started every game. I had 2 catches for 2 touchdowns. No, I had 2 catches for 1 touchdown. And 1 catch was in the first game of the year. And the other catch was the last game of the year. You know, so a lot of my junior year was just me blocking, you know, a lot of downfield blocking, you know, special teams, defensive plays. And, you know, off season, I'm going everywhere. You know, I'm going to the Nike camps, the rival camps, all the college, you know, recruiting showcases. And, you know, all the coaches are talking to me. They like what they see. I'm at FBU. I'm at all of them. You know, the U.S. Army All-American camp in Texas. I'm at all camps. They're all asking what offers I have. You know, and I'm telling them I have none. And, you know, obviously on Long Island, that's kind of common. You know, not a lot of people. But, you know, you're in California, you're in Florida, you're in Texas. These kids have offers in 8th, 9th grade. So they're all kind of like, what grade you in again? You know, I'm going to senior year. And I'm showing them my tape. And they're like, man, you got to get somewhere. You get some tape. All right, so boom. I met with Elijah Riley. He's now, I think, backup safety on the Steelers right now. And he also went to Newfield. I met him down in Texas. And, you know, he was getting a lot of offers. And he was a defensive back. You know, I'm competing with him. I'm running routes. I'm getting open. I'm like, yo, what's going on? You know what I mean? I'm running against 4 stars, 5 stars. At the time, I didn't even know what stars were. You know what I mean? And then they finally came over to Newfield. And at the time, I had a lot of smaller schools talking to me. You know, like I had at the time, the CW Post. You know, I had all the schools talking to me, interested, but not biting because they didn't have no film. They just see me out around it with a T-shirt on at showcases, you know. And I get to Newfield, you know, first 3 games of the year, I'm already leading the island in every category. You know, catches, touchdowns, yards, punt returns, everything. And, you know, that's when the school started coming in. But they was giving me the usual, you know, like, oh, you know, we got this guy right here. If he commits, you know, we can't do nothing, but if he doesn't, we'll take you. I was dealing with that the whole year, you know, and then right around the corner from signing day, you know, New Hampshire came in. They was always in the picture. You know, they came in and said, we'll give you a partial scholarship. And at the time, I was feeling like, look, I didn't just do all of this because, mind you, I transferred districts my senior year, you know, and you have 1 year to kind of prove yourself to the coach, you know, and get yourself established in that offense. And I felt like, I did not just do all of this for y'all to offer me a partial scholarship, you know. And then, you know, we kind of just kept talking. I was going up there for off-season workouts. And then we get to camp and they say, oh, we're going to redshirt you. And I'm kind of feeling like, no disrespect, but I pictured myself at a Syracuse, you know, a Penn State. And I get to the University of New Hampshire. Before the school offered me, I had no clue where New Hampshire was. And I had to Google it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what you mean you gonna redshirt me? You know, so the first week of camp, they had a 5th-year All-American defensive back. His name's Casey DeAndre. He's now, you know, he's one of their secondary coaches now. And he jogs up for one-on-ones. And I kind of, you know, the receivers, they kind of start backing off. And I'm like, what y'all doing? They're like, oh, you want to go? Like, yeah, let me get in there. You know what I mean? First play, go ball. You know what I mean? Not a coach, they all looking like, you know what I'm saying? And because they looking at me, I got a chip on my shoulder. But really, it's like, bro, at the end of the day, I got something to prove. Like, bro, my parents is paying for my school right now. You know what I mean? And that was kind of the rotation of how camp went. It was me kind of doing stuff out of term. Because, you know, in New Hampshire, they had a term called the New Hampshire man. And come on, I'm talking to y'all understand what that really means. I come in, I'm coming in with New York energy in New Hampshire. You know what I mean? They wasn't ready for that kind of shakeup. And, you know, a lot of the old guys kind of in my corner, like, yo, like pipe down a little bit, you know, like you kind of shaking the room a little bit, you know what I mean? Like you starting a wave, you know what I mean? And I'm kind of like, bro, like I'm trying to play, you know, and as fate has it, you know, one of the 5th-year senior receivers, he was actually one of the only people I looked up to there. He tears his ACL, you know, first quarter of week 1 out in San Diego State in Charger Stadium. You know, I'm standing on the sideline. They yelling, 8-4, 8-4. I'm so stupid. I wasn't a 15 my whole career. I was like, well, that's me. You know, so I go jogging in. You know, I'm 18 years old, 160 pounds. You know what I mean? So like, I'm running around. You know, I'm having fun. And then, you know, another week came. We're at Elon. You know, away game, pouring rain. Another same thing happens. They call my number. I go in first play. I run the backside, the stem in up corner. I don't know what
Cat,
you guys circus,
cat,
the corner
cat.
strike, call it. I run
Mhm.
that pouring rain. Kid slips, falls on his face, catch my first college touchdown. And I'm kind of a true freshman. I'm kind of just standing there, mind blown, because it's an away game, so nobody's cheering. So I'm like, I thought I just scored, you know what I mean? And so like that was kind of like my first real rush. Like, yo, I just scored a touchdown as a true freshman. I wasn't even supposed to play, you
Mhm.
know. And right after that, I'm back in New Hampshire. I'm back on campus, because I was one of the only true freshmen in the class that was playing, period. So all the other freshmen are back still on campus. They're texting like, yo, when you get home, we're going out. I got this view, I got these bottles, I got this party lined up. I'm sitting on a flight. I'm looking at the art coming out. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's, and mind you, when I was in high school, I never went out like that. I never partied. I didn't do much. So this is the first time I'm away from my parents. I got all these people excited to celebrate me, and I go out to the party, And at New Hampshire, the hockey team there was like Alabama football. You know what I mean? Now I'm out at the party, some kids bumping me. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking about that. I'm drinking, you know what I'm saying? I got a lot of women around me. I'm not thinking about him. Does it again. I'm looking out, I give him a look like now it's starting to hit me like, what's good? He does it again. Me and him get the push and shove, we end up getting into a fight. You know what I mean? Next day, they come pull me out of my class, talking about Coach Mack want to see you. I'm in my head thinking he about to offer me a scholarship. I walk in the office, he got two gentlemen standing next to him, talking about we got a report of this, this, and this. I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? That was that was when I initially got suspended from the football team. And now I'm up there like, not to say I had it all, but it's like, yo, I just showed them, I just did exactly what I needed to do. 2 days later, I'm suspended. And now I'm kind of like I wasted my true freshman year, and then season comes and goes. And now I decided to join the track team up there. Cause like you said, I was a pretty good track athlete in high school as well, but I never developed myself. So now I'm feeling like it's an opportunity to do something, make something of my freshman year. Now I'm up there. Who else is up there? The hockey team. You know what I mean? Me and this kid continue to get into it. He's messing with me, I'm messing with him, but everybody knows you see the person that swings back. I end up doing some bonehead stuff. I'm sure you remember. I'm not gonna get into it. I end up doing some bonehead stuff to get back at them. Again, they come knocking my door, telling me we got a warrant for your arrest. I'm like, well, there's that. Now I'm up there, and the problem was, I don't know if you know this part, because you never really asked me too much about it, and that was one of the things I love. Because I'll get into that. I picked New Haven, because you never really pressed me about it. But the problem was there was so much going on. There's so many other people involved, and not to say I'm no snitch, but I wasn't giving them what they wanted to hear. So they kept stacking up the threats and this, and this, and I'm kind of sitting there like, all right, like whatever, it is what it is. I kicked off the team regardless, and shipped me back off to New York the next day. And I told my mom I wasn't going back to school because in my mind, I only went to school to play football, and when they got taken away that fast, that was when I kind of felt, okay, now the real world starts, and I'm going to work, and I realized I hated working. Like I don't, I don't like this. I'm like, football is what I. And then, people started getting in my ear about different options, the Lackawannas, the ASAs, the Nassaus, and everything. And everything I always heard about Nassau was that it was one of those programs. Like you go to Nassau, go somewhere. But at the same time, I was feeling like I didn't know too much about community college. In my mind, I kept feeling like community college was failing. It's just like, why am I college? You know what I mean? So I just kept, and then eventually I kind of just told myself, like, bro, you gotta do something. Cause I'm working at Starbuck University in the kitchen,
Starbuck University.
30 off the tray, putting in the dishwasher, nobody in English. You know what I mean? So they ask me something, I don't know what you're saying to me. And then I don't know what they're saying. It's getting even harder to understand. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna interject. I'm gonna let Marlon give a little go as well. But one of the things that you just highlighted was the highs and lows of life, right? You were at the all-time high, you worked your butt off, and then unfortunate situations happens, you hit the bottom. And now you had to eventually you transferred, but you had to go to work. And one of the things that I remember very clearly, and I did ask enough questions right? There are certain things I didn't need to ask because I understood what the situation was. And I also did a lot of background information about background checks to kind of figure out exactly what the story was. But I want you to just share with the people, man, the importance that you put within your schoolwork. Because outside of the incident, the first thing I looked at was your transcript. And your transcript at high school was ridiculously good. So I knew that there was something up there that was pretty sound, and I knew that you were fully capable. I just felt like you needed a little bit of guidance. You needed someone to be in your corner, and I don't think that's something that you experienced, unfortunately, at the first school. Because I think if you did, that first situation that you got into would have probably been your last, based off the way they dealt with it, right?
I mean, also thing with the schoolwork was I kind of realized that I can't put all my eggs in one basket. That's what really put the emphasis on my schoolwork. When, like I said, when football got taken away, I realized I needed to do more with myself.
Yeah. And I remember when you came in, one thing that people that are listening, you have to understand, when you come from a Division I school to a 2-year school, in order to get back to a 4-year school, you have to obtain your AA, which means you have to graduate, right? So whatever classes, now mind you, you got kicked out your freshman year, right? Your freshman year, semester 1. So I remember when you came in, you're like, yo, look, I need to get out of here. I'm like, yo, I can help you, but you're gonna have to take a crazy, crazy amount of classes. Like you're gonna have to come in the summer and probably take 4 to 5 classes, right?
Yeah.
And I remember having to go down to administration. They're like, I don't think anyone can do this. This is a lot of work to do. And I was like, nah, he can do it. Let's. And my thing was like, don't tell someone they can't unless you at least give them a chance to try. And you went out there, you tried it, and not only did you do it, you came out of there with like a 4.0. And I think you kept that consistently throughout, right? So go ahead.
No, I don't tell that story a lot. I briefly tell people that, but people don't know about bro, I cried myself to sleep so many times, didn't eat food because, I was getting on campus at 6 a.m., going through 4 classes, practice, going back to the library to do another 2 classes. A lot of people didn't know about that one right there.
I think you also didn't really talk, and another one thing, you got a little sick too mid-season. You were exhausted. I remember your blood count. There's a certain level when it comes to stress. There's a word that the blood does. Remember what it called?
Cortisol, something like cortisol.
Your cortisol, right? Your count was low. And that happened because of the stress that you had put on your body between practice, between the games, between trying to get back and forth from the studying. But your mindset, you had a mindset and you had a goal in mind that you needed to accomplish, and you were able to do it. So you took on 4 classes in the summer, and then how many credits? 6 classes in the summer, and then how many classes did you take in the season?
It was 6 classes in the summer, 9 classes during the season. Well, it was 7 classes plus the 2 CLEP exams. And a CLEP exam is literally like a 120 question exam. That's the equivalent of a full course. And you have to pay for online course that you just study on your own time, and then you go in on your test day, and you gotta sit down and knock out a certain amount of correct answers.
Yeah, wow. And you did that. You were able to get out 4.24. You were able to get out within that year. So you did a 2-year degree in a year and a half, pretty much. If you want to consider
just the summer, the fall, and then the winter, and then I was out.
And he graduated with a 4.0.
Crazy.
That's amazing, man. That's absolutely amazing. So I want to ask you, AJ, like, what was the driving force behind, you being able to get all of that done and accomplish that? What was your mindset? What was kind of like what you kept your mind and your eyes on during that time?
I'll show you. Still got it, matter of fact. Still got it to this day. It's right here.
Oh, that's the magnet.
That right there. That's something I always kind of keep in my head. Where we be in 2 years. Like, I'm real big on the whole, it doesn't matter what you're going through right now, because, in a couple months, a couple years, it's not going to matter. You know what I mean? So I kind of just kept telling myself, my end goal is go to the NFL. What do I got to do to go to the NFL? And the answer kept being, finish this, go to the next school. And I was, okay, what do I got to do? Like Ramsey said, what do I got to do to get out of here within this time frame? They gave me the list, and I just kept checking them off.
Yo, is that the magnet that I gave everybody in the locker room? Did you write that in your locker, the magnet, or did you have that just because I remember I I gave everybody magnets to put in their locker, and they had to write down their goals, and
Yo,
they can wipe it off.
That's a great question. I don't know where. That's one of those things where I don't know where it came from, but it's like I had it as long as I can remember. You know what I mean?
That's the magnet.
I know it started when I was at Nassau, so that would be crazy if I got it from you.
That's the magnet. Yeah, that's the magnet. So for those that don't know, man, like goal setting when it comes to, yeah, that's it. That's the magnet.
Magnet for as long as I can remember. Like when I was at New Hampshire, it was on my little dorm fridge, and I remember right before we threw the fridge out, wait, smash the magnet up. That's crazy.
That's an amazing point of view and skill that very few people have, including myself at times, where you're able to give yourself a macro point of view opposed to a micro point of view. It's very easy to get stuck in what you're working on and what you're dealing with today. You know what I'm saying? And get distracted by, you know, the headwinds or whatever you're dealing with on a daily basis, opposed to looking at the big picture. So that's a major skill that, you know, listeners, young athletes, high school athletes, whatever have you, can take from your story, where it's like, all right, this is hard right now, but in 2 years it's going to pay off. And it sounds cliche, but 2 years goes by pretty fast. You know, it goes by pretty fast. And when you look back, you want to be able to at least say, all right, I gave it my all, and I checked those boxes, and I went through that checklist. So that's commendable, man. Salute to you for that, man. That's amazing.
Appreciate that.
So let's go. Let's continue with the story, man. So after you leave Nassau, you know, you had because I handle most of your recruiting. You had a lot of schools that would come up and talk, and you know, a lot of these coaches, and I'm not even gonna say no knock to them, definitely a knock to them, right? A lot of these coaches, they don't understand that as young athletes, the environment that you go to, this is a message for a lot of the young athletes that are trying to get out and they're trying to go to these colleges, they're trying to earn that scholarship. Maybe even it's something like where you are, where they didn't have a lot of offers, so they just settled for the one that they did have. The environment that you play in is one. That's very important. You want to put yourself in an environment where you're comfortable, where you're going to thrive, and where you could have mental clarity on and off the field, right? The coach who you decide to play for is also equally as important, right? You want to have someone that's going to be able to guide you through your struggles, talk to you when you need to have a talking to, and when you do have pitfalls, not just shun you off to the side, like it sounds like the things that took place with you at New Hampshire. And like I said, I would say no knock to them, but no, it's a knock to them because these things that as coaches, understand you have a program to run, but you're also dealing with very young men and women that may or may not understand their overall environment that they're in. Right. So when coaches will come in and start to look at you after leaving my program, after having a tremendous season, after, you know, doing all the right things, graduating with not even a year, a semester, a summer, and a winter, being able to get out, they still would question, you know, who you are as a person, right? Talk to me a little bit about that exit recruiting, what that did to you mentally, and what made you decide to go to New Haven over other schools that may or may not have been knocking.
So what ultimately made me pick New Haven, you know, because a lot of, like you said, a lot of schools were coming in and curious, but then a lot of them kind of was frowning upon a situation that it was kind of like they were kicking while I was down. You know what I mean? Kind of making me have to prove to them why I'm a better person. Like you're supposed to know that if you're here talking to me. You know what I mean? Like if you still see me here trying to right or wrong and show that I'm a positive person, why are you sitting here kind of, I just felt like I was being spoken down to. And then when it came to New Haven, you know, he kind of, you know, his name is Coach P, and him, and as well as the recording coordinator, you know, he's someone also we still talk to this day. You know, he will check in with me every day, you know, kind of just aside from football, how you doing, you know, mentally, you know, literally he would tap in on me mentally. And he would ask for updates on what was going on, but he would be like, you know, how does that make you feel? Things like that. He made me feel comfortable with it. And then when I met the head coach, you know, he invited me to his house with his family. You know, we had dinner. You know, I feel like most coaches with those recruiting situations, you know, they meet you out in a public place. You know, he invited me to his home, you know, and this was the first time meeting the man. And, you know, we kind of sat and we talked about it, you know, man to man about it. And he kind of said, well, look, like, there's a lot of things that I don't feel are forgivable, but, you know, he kind of just looked me in the face. I was like, you know, I feel like there's something deeper there. And he, like, it was not even what he said, it was the way he said it. You know, he looked me in the face, you know, he nodded, he shook my hand and kind of like, you know, now let's go win. You know what I mean? And I like the way he said it, it wasn't even an option anymore. It was, I'll see you Monday. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, see, I felt like this isn't even a recruit visit anymore. I just committed, and I went back home and I thought about, okay, it's only an hour ferry ride away. And that was another thing. This is close to home. It's like it's far enough to where I could come myself, but it's close enough to where if I feel lost, I can go home, and reconnect and relock in.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And Mel made a great point just now about the opportunity that coaches have to mold, young men and things like that. And I think that's people in general. When you have someone that has something that has a spark, has a fire, but needs some type of guidance or needs a second chance or something like that, and you're in a position to put that person on and influence their growth and their opportunity, people to take advantage of that. And oftentimes you get blessed. And clearly, they got blessed by having you being able to come out there to New Haven because he saw that, that investment in you. Was there ever a time during all of this, because you went through a lot, where you were just like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it? And if you felt like that, like, what was it? Did you have anybody that you leaned on to talk things through? Because I think that's a big thing that young athletes and people need to start to use and leverage, is having an outlet. You can't keep everything bottled up. You got to talk to somebody, have a good circle. So who did you kind of lean on during them dark times?
Yeah, like on the surface, obviously it was like Coach Ramsey, like some of my friends, but on a deeper level, it was my sister, because at the time I moved out of my parents' house and I was living with my sister. And, she was dealing with some new things. She had a newborn baby, and the father wasn't in the picture. So as she was leaning on me, I was leaning back on her. And we kind of just kept the connection of like, we gonna make it through this. So it kind of felt like I was going through it with somebody. Like on some of the grass is green on the other side type of thing. So let's just make it through these dark times. Because we was both literally in the exact same position. She had a newborn kid, her license was suspended. So, she was borrowing my car and then drop me off at school, take the car and do what she had to do to make money. So it was it was just that, cause we both came from somewhere where, not to say we had the carpet and all we had to do was stay on the path. And, both of us got off the path. And we kind of just found each other and was like, look, we got to get back on there. Mm-hmm. And everybody has their relationship with their parents, but like we kind of came together early and was like, look, like we can't depend on them. We can't, y'all know what I'm saying? We can't run to mommy and daddy forever. We got to figure this. And that was my crutch.
Respect.
I remember your sister dropping you, and then I gotta go. My sister got my car. I gotta go. I can stay for meetings, but I gotta leave soon. Like I remember that very, very vividly, man. I also, I love the fact that Marlon's question, it hit right on, man. Like young athletes, old athletes, people in general, man. I think like mental clarity and having an outlet to speak to someone when you're going through those stresses is something that was so frowned upon early on, right? And now I think with the world that we live in and just the acceptance of having, psychologists, sports psychologists, just people that you can talk to, it's been such a relief. And I'm sure that you found that comfort, and it actually probably propelled you to continue to go down the right track. Like you said, staying on that carpet. Your parents did a good job of providing, and for whatever reason you guys got off, but having each other and having that outlet to talk to kind of puts you back on that spot. And where you are right now is where we're going to go to, right? I remember after you finished, you had a video that was tremendous. I really thought that you had an opportunity. I thought you would have had a real opportunity to go and play in the league, but you started putting out these videos, man. And they were like football, like shorts, right? They were like football videos where he would talk about like the player, right? He had one way, the player, the lazy player, the player that would like get yelled at by the coach, the one that didn't want to run the last 100.
That's him.
That's it.
Yeah, it's like type videos, the types of players.
Yo, so everybody gonna know. Obviously, clearly, I didn't do my research before we came on, but it's been a crazy time for me in my world. And Mel hit me up today. Was like, "We're gonna try to get it in today." Bro, I remember them. Them videos was crazy, man.
Hilarious.
But yeah, that was start. And like when people ask me like, "Oh, how'd you get started with TikTok, YouTube?" I always say, "Bro, it's an accident." You know what I mean? Like, I just made this video joking around with my friends, and then I posted that video and didn't think much of it. And then, Sports Illustrated, Sports Center, everybody was messaging me like, yo, you got to do more. I'm like, excuse me? You know what I mean? Like, I never thought this was how Sports Illustrated would post me. You know what I mean? Like, and then, next day I just did a part 2 to it. And then they're like, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. I'm like, all right, well, damn. I'm like, all right, types of players during lift, types of players when the team's losing. And then, started running out of ideas a little bit. And then, people just started asking me questions in the comments, like, yo, like what happened to you playing football? And I just started telling the story a little bit. And like, oh, do you still want to play? And then I started showing me, running one-on-ones. And then, it kind of just kept spiraling and escalating. Next thing I know, I'm at 1 million followers. And okay, I guess I'm a TikToker. You know what I mean? Like, like,
I remember. I was like, yo, I call you Jelani. I'm like, it's Jelani. What's Jelani doing on this thing, man? He's over here. And I'm laughing because the stuff that you would, first off, a lot of the stuff that you would see, if for those that don't know football and don't understand conditioning, that was like so spot on.
Bro.
Right? Every type, spot on, son. Like,
Man.
spot on. Right. So that was it. And then, this is the part where I really wanted you to hit on the business side of things, right? Because one of the things that your education, especially at Nassau, and I'm always going to big up Nassau, obviously, it's where I'm at, right? But being that you were able to graduate with such a high GPA and continue to do so at New Haven, how has that education helped you navigate this new world of social media and the networking and the importance of all those things? Can you talk to the people about that?
No. No, for real, to this day, I always kind of get mad. Like, when now I'm trying to deal with, real estate and other things, I'm like, man, this is the stuff we should have been learning, man. You know what I mean? But like, overall, if you do, I think, okay, I don't know. You might want to edit this out. This is y'all opinion.
I'm not editing it. Let's go.
All right, cool. All right, I'm real big listening to Gary V. Gary Vaynerchuk.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe school does not teach you what it's supposed to teach you. I feel like school teaches you how to manage bullshit. It like teachers give you all these assignments and random stuff. I feel like it teaches you, okay, this is what I got to do. Let's get it done. It's busy work. Boom, done. Did I get a good grade on? Okay, that means I tried hard to do it. I put my best forward and I got a desired result, desired grade from it. And I feel like you take that management, apply it to life. Like sometimes, if you're at a job, boss wants you to do something. It's like, why am I doing this? But it's like, it's making you, okay, this is busy work. I did this 15 years in school. You know what I mean? I could do this, and I got good grades. So clearly I could put my best energy into this, turn in a acceptable assignment, an acceptable report, an acceptable file, whatever it is, write up. And bro, it's like, when it comes to the social media side of things, it's the same things. Okay, this is my audience, and y'all expect A+ quality, A+ content from me. So I gotta sit here and I can't just, put a camera on, hey guys, what's up, end the video. Like, I gotta actually, the crazy part, I'm really trying to connect school to like making content.
But I think you just did. I think you just did. In essence, even though I understand your plight on both, right? I understand what you're saying as far as some of the things that we do in school may not it may not apply to your everyday life, depending on what it is that you do. Mm-hmm. But the things that you did pick up from school, which you just said, right? You have to have a discipline. You have to be able to prepare. You have to be able to do your research. You have to be able to be on time and have a presentable assignment in order to get the followers, in order to get the thing. You can't just turn on the camera and just go, just like you can't just wake up and just take a test, right?
Yes. So that's the point. Like, schools to the finer skills, not necessarily, not the Pythagorean theorem, the erratic, what is it? What was the equation? Quadratic equation? Like, none of that stuff actually mattered. It was the fact that the teacher saying, memorize this formula, you're gonna need it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think the work ethic definitely is something, that's kind of why I said it. Like, the thing that you did at Nassau, outside of the schoolwork, your work ethic is why when you left, I had no doubt in my mind, outside of football, that you were gonna be okay.
I think that's character, man.
It is, but
I feel like that's what school is. That school is developing that stuff. It's not a matter of plus is the character portion. You know, like I had all those classes. They told me I needed to get certain grades to do it. Got it done. You know what I mean? And that was my biggest thing. I want to show these new coaches, regardless of what mistakes I made in my past, this is who I am. You know what I mean? You need me to get it done, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Respect, man. There's you know, I feel like there's a lane now for athletes and, you know, social media content creation. It opens up another avenue of, you know, another career path, another opportunity. Because when you're an athlete and you have dreams of going pro, and going pro doesn't happen, just going to work in an office or another job or something that you're not passionate about, it kind of like exclaims or underscores that shortfall, or, you know, that dream not being realized, where you go and it's just like, this is my life now. Your life went from color to damn near like black and white, you know. So what does content, like, does content creation, you know, does it scratch that itch for you, you know, that, you know, playing did, or does it feel like a good alternative career wise to, you know, not being in the NFL?
Well, the short answer is no, it doesn't scratch the itch all the way. I still get the urge to compete, you know, especially like when I'm making content about certain players. In the back of my head, I'm like, I could do that. You know what I mean? Or like, what makes him different than when I was his age doing the same thing? You know, stuff like that. But in terms of, you know, the other side of things, my main goal of playing football was, one, to provide, you know, the financial portion, but two, I only wanted to play to get the platform of being an NFL player, you know. And now through content, I was almost able to do the same thing. You know, I feel like I have a bigger following than almost 90% of NFL players. And that was my goal. I just wanted to have a voice in the football space. Yeah. But back to, in terms, does it scratch the itch of playing? Nah. Nah, man. Like when I go to games, I'm on side like yelling, cheering. I'm like, I'm like, where can he be? Like, or listening to the pregame chants, I'm ready to run out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not in equipment. You know what I mean? Like, so like it kind of just is, the urge has never left me, but it is a good alternative, you know, in terms of you have people looking up to you, you have people's attention when you're speaking about a certain topic. So
you have the platform. It's crazy because just the other day, I saw I can't remember his name, but a high school recruit, a top recruit. I think he was like a 4 or 5 star. I want to say maybe he was going to Texas. I could be wrong, but he lost his scholarship because he said he was rapping. He was rapping, and he said the N-word. Yeah, and then I kind of fell down this rabbit hole where I realized there's another former top recruit that lost his scholarship because he was making money as a content creator. Have you worked with him before? Y'all did any collabs or anything like that?
A lot.
Yeah.
Collabed a lot. You know, we compared to each other a lot. You know, we've butt heads a few times. You know, we've also shared drinks together. But no, I'm real good with him.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't know his backstory. I started seeing him just like I saw you, like just kind of randomly on, you know, YouTube one day and watching the videos and social media, and I didn't know his backstory, how he ended up there. So it's kind of funny how you know, this provides an outlet for you guys, you know, just kind of like a circuitous route to get the platform to be able to get off whatever you want to get off and grow and, you know, make a good living. So it's a beautiful thing. Yeah,
it's a story like these. It sucks because, like, if he was to be playing now, it would be totally acceptable.
Right. It's crazy, right? With NIL and everything like that, it's cool to make money, and then all of a sudden it's not.
Yeah, like mine came naturally. He was kind of forced to.
Yeah.
You know, like once he picked that, which obviously turned out to be the more sustainable option for him. But it's like he was kind of forced to, once he picked that, he had to go all out. Yeah. You know, I went all out because like we was talking about, that's just what I do. You know, if I start doing it, you go 100% at it.
Okay.
So speaking to that, man, tell us a little bit about what you got going on. I know the shirt. I saw your Instagram. You got the gloves. It looks like that's doing well. The swag hoodies is what they're called, right? Is that did I say it right?
So hoodie.
Say it again.
So hoodie.
The So hoodie is another thing. Can you tell everybody, like, exactly, one, how they get it, what made you start it, how the turnout is right now, and what the future is for everything that you're looking to do?
Are you talking about everything? You're talking about So hoodie?
Give me everything, man.
Well, so my own personal merch, you know, I just started doing this because I didn't want to start doing a merch line that, everybody has done, and they just start putting out the t-shirts and the hoodies. I wanted to wait and to do something significant, and then with the glove, when I start, so the idea with the gloves was because I feel like one of the best parts of my game is my hands, because obviously now when I was playing, I was about 190. Now I'm about 215. So sometimes, the step is not where I want it to be, but I have really strong hands. I have really strong hands. Like that shows up a lot. So people would always kind of say, man, I need gloves like you. And I started taking the gloves off. I was doing videos. So I started doing the one-hand catch with no gloves. And then, so D, the dude you're talking about destroying, he has a deal with the glove company called Grip Boost. So when a lot of kids drop passes, he'll always pop up and like, oh, you need some Grip Boost. Would always hit me like, oh, like Grip Boost. I'm in my head like, dog, I don't even need gloves. You know what I mean? So like, that was why I started doing the Awiwi gloves. And okay, if y'all want to talk about gloves so much, I'm gonna profit off. I'm gonna market myself off it. So I threw the logo on the on the middle grip part, and then I just started selling those. And I waited patiently to do that too. Like those have been done for almost 2 years. Those have been done for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I kept waiting, and then I was like, okay, it's time. And then because I've been promoting for so long, that's why those sold out in less than 2 days.
Wow.
And I knew it was gonna happen that way just because I've been teasing them for so long. And then the So hoodies, that's something I've been a part of since 2018. I wore that before I was anybody, just because I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody walk around with a towel on their head. And then I seen that. I'm like, dog, that's dope. It's like, I just threw it on. I walk around no shirt on. And then when I started posting my videos, I had it on. And everyone's like, yo, what is that? And, the company reached out to me. And that was when I realized, one, they're based on Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. You know what I mean? And then two, they weren't as big as I thought they were. I thought they were a big time brand at the time.
Yeah.
They kind of just, took me under the wing. Like, yo, like, could you post us? Could you do this? Could you do this? We'll pay you X amount of dollars. And that was when I realized it was still a startup company.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was able to kind of make that my thing. I was able to make that people see me, they think the hoodie. People see the hoodie, they think me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another thing I was able to just embed into what I was building. And, I kind of just brought them up with me. But, this, y'all could get, this hasn't dropped yet. This is another one. I've been wearing this since the summertime. So like when I finally posted, yo, y'all can go buy this. They're all gonna go flock to buy. They've been seeing me wear this for months. But I dropped my website, it's ajgreen15.com. And I'm gonna putting out a lot of different things out there, and I'm doing everything. I'm moving slow right now because it's just me. I don't have people to fulfill all the orders, so I'm kind of just putting out things as I see fit.
And what do you want to? Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
No, you good, bro. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is there anything else that you want to share with us? I know I briefly mentioned the 7-on-7. Is there anything else that you want to, promote?
Nah, they gonna have to learn about the 7-on-7 when it's time.
Okay.
All I can say, it's me, it's that boy, that's another creator out there, and Tyreek Hill. You put one of the loudest mouths in the football space and the fastest player in the NFL, and let you create a team. That team has to be. That's got to be 8. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be prime time.
This is fire, man. I'm on your site right now, and this is really cool because before the pandemic, I played a ton of flag, ton of 9-man. All the dudes on the flag circuit, but not all of them, but a lot of them. Like this stuff is right up their alley, man. Like people, they love all the extras, the glasses, the hoodies. So this stuff is dope, man. People really do appreciate all of this, and I'm happy that you're getting to do this. And what I really like, you have a strategic business mind. You're not just trying to cash grab. You're timing up your launches. You're marketing your stuff and wearing it well before you set it out to be purchased. And I think that's really dope. So the success is gonna keep coming, man. Congrats to you on this. What is the partnership like with the hoodie company?
So it at this point, it's one of those relationships that kind of just kept growing. We never put a formal name on it.
Okay.
A little bit of equity in the company.
That's
and
dope.
Like I say, it's a strategic partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I'm flying every week to go film all these games, they're funding all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
in return, I'm wearing their hoods and everything. I'm giving them to players, I'm promoting them. So it's definitely a good strategic partnership. Obviously I put my logo on their hoods as well, and they sell those on their end. I get a piece of commission of that. But at the end of the day, money makes the world go round, but it's not all about the money with everything I'm doing with all the merchant things. It's really just, like I said, it's fun to say. Like I just, and people have, like, that's why I got the stickers. I got a lot of little stuff because I like when people have them, because that sparks the conversation. Because somebody sees it and they're like, "What the heck does that say?" And then I was like, "You don't know AJ Greene? Who's AJ Greene?" And then they go look and they start trying to say it. Like I'm telling you, if you just go in the mirror one day and go, I wish, like, bro, it's fun to say. Like you just start smiling, saying it. So like, it's just, I like it because it just kind of just connects me to my audience positively.
That's dope. That's dope, man. Salute.
Appreciate you.
AJ, man, I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you, sharing your story with us. As I said, everybody that we bring on here, there's always an angle that we try to promote within the mental half of it. And for this one, I think people are going to listen to it. They're going to understand your entire story, your entire story to where you are right now, but also to where you're going to be, where you're going. And like Marlon said, you're going to have continued success. I, for one, believed in that back in when you played for me. And I'm very proud to call you a former alumni player of mine, but also, a friend that I can sit back, get on my cell phone, have a few laughs, look at you on Instagram, on TikTok, on all social media platforms, and also share you with everyone that I know, right? Like Marlon and my friend group, and the coaches that may have passed up on you, the coaches that counted you out, the coaches that didn't want to give you that second chance. I'm going to sit here and tell you that you made a big mistake. Right? You made a tremendous mistake, because as young men, as young athletes, as young college people, that's the place where you're supposed to make those mistakes, and you're supposed to be able to get that second chance. So that way guys and people's lives hopefully become as great as what we're watching and what you're witnessing right now. So for those guys that did give you the chance, salute, shout out. I appreciate and continue to do the work. And for those that didn't, I'm not gonna say shame on you, but don't make that mistake again, man. Unless or switch your career, switch your job, because you're not in the right field. So that's what I have to say to that.
Facts. And to leave them on a mental note, my biggest thing is just keep going. Like literally whatever is going on, just keep. Matter of fact, bro, this is another thing. Surround yourself with daily reminders. Hold up. Just surround
I was looking
yourself.
at that thing the whole time. I was looking at this the whole time, man. It's dope.
90% of who quits are employed by 3% that never give up. That's good stuff.
Telling you. That's the other big piece, man. Just keep surrounding yourself with daily affirmations, man. Just every time you feel like quitting, man, you just all right. You know what I mean? So y'all, it's sweet. Just keep going.
Yeah, man. Salute, man.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, homie.